Hi, I'm Johnny Neill, and I'm the founder of Marylebone Gin, and I'm here with Dev Tomlinson, our global gin ambassador. Hi Dev, how are you doing?
Good, Johnny. Good. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, guys. So my name is Devin Tomlinson, and today with Johnny, the founder of Marylebone Gin, we're just going to be chatting through some interesting topics, interesting points about it, and obviously, I think pulling apart, the essence of what the product is about. So I think first things first, Johnny. The pleasure gardens, the history behind
The pleasure gardens.
The pleasure gardens. Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's start in the modern age, so to speak. So I used to live in Marylebone, and my parents had a place there when we were growing up.
How long were you there for?
I lived there for about 15 years.
Yes.
Loved the place. It's right in the centre of London, so in the West End, heart of London, and I knew a lot about the history of it, having lived there for 15 years. And in the 17th and 18th centuries, there was what was called a pleasure gardens, a place to go gambling, gaming, doing some sport, maybe bowling.
And also a different level of society too. I think it was
all levels of society in this melting pot, but trying to escape the city of London, the grot of the city of London.
Big smoke.
So this gin is very much based around the Georgian pleasure gardens of the day.
Amazing, cool. And then the relation to the Marylebone Hotel, so obviously the distillery currently producing. Just take us through that.
Yeah, well, I was very lucky to form a partnership with the hotel itself. So the Marylebone Hotel is on Marylebone Lane. So it's about 100 metres from where the pleasure gardens used to sit in Georgian times. Yeah, so right where it was. And so they very kindly allowed me to place my pot still in the hotel and create the Marylebone recipe there. So
the still?
Still, this is our still. This is Isabella.
Yeah. Isabella's your daughter?
Yes. My daughter is called Isabella.
Yeah.
And I have an ancestor called Isabella Greenall. So we have 8 generations of gin distilling behind us.
Yeah.
But she's a little copper still. All the copper on her is hand beaten by an artisan coppersmith, and that's where all our recipes are created.
Sure. In the heart of the city.
Right in the West End, probably the most central distillery in London. Yeah.
Amazing. And then also a huge topic I think about that is another thing is the ABV in that too. So
the ABV. So those Georgian times, they would have been very strong gins. They would have been straight off the still. People would have been putting a penny in a slot and drinking it straight out of the slot.
Yeah.
This
so being a 50%.
Yeah, this is 50.2%. So it's slightly overproof, and that's to draw out the flavours of the floral flavours that we've got distilled within the gin. Yeah.
So I think obviously an interesting point for me in there too is the botanical composition, Johnny, that you've obviously gone with this very different to the other stuff that you've done. I think Marylebone kind of speaking, or Marylebone. Again, Marylebone, where...
Marylebone.
Something about Marylebone.
Whatever you want to call it.
Depending on the area.
There's something about Mary, yeah.
But the botanicals, so 3 main, I want to say you've, kind of segregated 3 main flavour profiles. I think the first, it is a London dry in its essence.
It's very much a London dry gin, so juniper right in the front.
Yeah, so obviously the fresh juniper berries. Anything specific about the juniper berries?
Macedonian berries. No, I mean
quite piney in flavour, but
piney,
again
they've got that
strong
bitterness, but that's what I love in a gin.
A good classical gin,
yeah, exactly.
And then your core ingredients, as you said, between the teas and the citrus.
So the more floral botanicals. So we've got lime flower here, which is from the linden tree. So it's got a floral sweetness to it, and a little bit of a citrus element to it. We've got at the front here is lemon balm. A bit more herbaceous, a little bit more minty, grassy, but also a little bit of citrus.
Very much a tea profile.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Exactly.
Teas,
and carrying on that tea concentration, there's a bit of chamomile. So a little bit more floral. But you guys might have tried chamomile tea. So
all representative of the pleasure gardens available, kind of stuff that would have been found traditionally.
Mainly. Yeah. Exactly.
And your core ingredients, and I guess probably your stick to for that in terms of citrus. I know you love
your
citrus.
I love citrus, and it will help soften things because this is a traditional London dry. So we've got a little bit more grapefruit in there.
Okay, so grapefruit outweighing your orange and lemon.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of sweetness.
Dry orange and lemon.
Yeah, orange and lemon here too.
And then obviously our roots and spices. I mean, you obviously traditionally your Angelica is always in,
Angelica,
Oris.
Oris, those are very much mainstays.
and then licorice root for that
and
natural
then that
sweetener.
sort of earthy, natural sweetness.
Sweetener.
And then we have a little bit of spice too. So we've got cloves and cassia. So 13
Cassia.
botanicals in all.
Amazing. 13 in all, huh?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So breaking those 3 up, and then I think from there, Johnny, that traditional kind of London dry that you've created, we've created some new expressions too. Do you want to take us through those? Your first NPD that you did?
Yeah, well, so we've got the blue London dry, and then we've got an orange and geranium. So it's sweet orange and geranium.
Okay.
And this one I wanted to play more in the flavoured area of gin, but very
it's
much
still a macerated.
It's still macerated. It's still fully
macerated.
distilled. So there's a little bit more sweet orange in there, and then we've got this lovely floral geranium notes, which you get on the nose, but actually on the finish. Sort of almost a little bit like Turkish delight.
Yeah.
Beautiful
flavor. I see 8 botanicals in comparison to 13, so a little bit softer.
Yeah, a little bit softer, a little bit simpler.
And funny enough, there was a small award that this won this year.
A small award. I've got it here. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah.
So World Gin Awards. This one, the world's best flavoured gin. Which for me is fantastic because it's a fully distilled.
Okay, that's amazing.
Gin as well.
Just obviously testament also to the base foundation of that liquid that's being distilled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're using a wheat grain spirit underneath all our gins.
And then the last one, Johnny, we've got the cask strength.
It's cask aged. Yeah, so
yeah.
so this is our original London dry gin. It's come off the still. We brought it down to 62% ABV, and then we've placed it in rum casks, and we've got some rum casks from Foursquare Distillery in Barbados. So that spends exactly 6 weeks, so 42 days in rum cask. So it's got a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oakiness to it, and a little bit of spice from the rum, but it's still very much a gin, and it's still very much got this, sitting as the heart of it.
Obviously, a big trend just in terms of sipping gin or neat gin. So I think kind of speaking to that connoisseur and the high end of the drinking scale.
And all these have a slightly higher ABV. So this is 50.2. This one's 51.3%. And the orange and geranium is 46.2. So just pulling different flavours and aromas out.
Amazing, awesome. So great touch points. Obviously the Pleasure Gardens, where it's distilled, the heart of London and Marylebone. The 13 botanicals, floral, great, grapefruit, and obviously juniper, your 3 core foundation flavours. But again, just speaking to that very classical, traditional style consumer that really just wants a top-end G&T.
Lovely for a G&T.
Yeah.
Also makes a great martini. But we've got a whole selection of cocktails on our website. So it's www.marylebongin.com.
All right, to go get those serves. Awesome, guys. So hope you learned something really cool about the brand for today, and stay tuned for some serves. Thank you.
Cheers.